What's up, everyone? Back for another beer review, and today is Christmas Eve 2023. So whether you're at home by yourself, maybe preparing for tomorrow, or maybe you're spending time with your friends and family, no matter the case, I hope you're having an absolutely wonderful day. Now, here on the Beer Patrol, it's tradition on Christmas Eve and Christmas Day every year to review a beer that invokes the holiday spirit. So the beer I'm reviewing today comes from Brouwerij Het Anker, and they are out of Mechelen, Belgium, and this is their Gouden Carolus Christmas. So they are calling this one a Belgian Dark Special Ale, and they also say rich and spiced. That comes in at 10% alcohol by volume, 11 IBUs, and at the time of review, I don't know exactly how old this bottle is, but it does have a best by date of July 26th of 2025, which means we're about a year and a half away from that date. So we should be good. Now, you can correct me if I'm wrong, so if anybody knows, please post in the comment section, but I believe this beer, they give a 3-year best by date. So if that is the case, this one was bottled on July 26th of 2022, making this one the 2022 vintage. However, they do have a little spiel here on the back, which says it is brewed in August, so I'm kind of confused, but we should be fine. Beers like this can age quite a bit. So no matter the case, we should be good to go. So full disclosure, I've had this one before numerous times, but it's been over 10 years. I love the darker Belgian beers, whether it's a Belgian Strong Dark Ale or a Belgian Quad. They just speak to me. A lot of times I get fruitcake, you get the dark fruits and the spices from the Belgian yeast, and they're delicious. I have not reviewed anything from Het Anker on the channel. That needs to change in 2024 after this beer because they make some good stuff. Yeah, anyway, I want to crack this one open and get in the glass. Like I said, they have a little spiel here. We'll read on the back. Very generic, but at the end of the day, I just want to do, review the beer and see what I think about it before reading tasting notes, even though, again, they're very generic. Now, this one is brewed with three different hops, and I believe I think it's 3 hops and 6 different herbs and spices. They don't tell you what the herbs and spices are, so we're gonna have to try to guess and figure it out. I figured, there's some festive spices in here, I would assume. Do something like that, and then at the end maybe pour in the rest of the goodies, but don't want to pour the entire thing in yet. But yeah, I'm really looking forward to this one. So yeah, anyway, that pours out this beautiful ruby red almost. Hold it up to the light, has a beautiful ruby red color. Almost a red ale look to it, but a bit darker. On camera, it's gonna probably look just maybe like a dark red or even like a brown. Has a finger of this beautiful khaki colored head, super creamy looking, fluffy, has some alcohol legs around the sides of the glass. There is some fine particulate floating around in the glass, but it just looks like a beautiful Belgian Strong Dark Ale. Let's get a nose. I just want to sit here and smell this. Yeah, fruitcake. Lots of dried fruits like apricots, cherries, things of that nature. Big malty character. There's a lot of toffee and caramel. Brown bread, rich brown bread, slightly toasted. Maybe a touch of vanilla, even. Yeah, a slight black licorice kind of tinge there. Oh. The yeast esters are giving me more of a bubble gum than a banana, which is nice. It's a very mild bubble gum. But then there's a lot of spices. There is a little bit of cinnamon. Like a cinnamon, clove, coriander type of thing. Oh. It's dare I say cohesive. It's given me like a spiced, like a rum cake. It has like a spicy rum cake feel to it, but more to the fruitcake side of things. It has a more fruity kind of aspect. So it's maybe if you made the fruitcake with rum on top, a lot of times fruitcake will have a rum glaze. That's kind of what I'm getting, but a little bit more emphasis on the spices from a rum. Ooh, the cherry is definitely big. Sweet cherry, fresh cherry, dried cherry, lots of cherries. I just want to sit here and smell this one. That's not how a review works, unfortunately. So we're going to have to drink it. So anyway, like I said, hopefully everybody's having a fantastic Christmas Eve. You know I am, because I'm drinking this. Cheers. It's great. Great beer. Man, for 10% too, a little bit of a warming in the chest, but it hides it so well. It's so smooth on the palate. Buying this one, a little bit thin. A little bit thin. It's like higher side of medium, lower side of full, 10%. I don't really have an issue with that. It actually enhances the drinkability. And I say that a lot in reviews because of the truth. Like, sometimes I want beers to be thick and syrupy and viscous and, you know, like motor oil and just syrupy, right? Beer like this, I don't really want it like that, but I think I would like it a little bit thicker, a little bit more body to it. The mouthfeel, fucking superb. While it's effervescent and like moderately carbonated, it is so smooth and creamy on the palate. It's absurd. Like a lot of these Belgian Strong Darks and quads and things of that nature, like it just has such a creamy, velvety, smooth kind of feeling on the palate. Taste, super complex. I don't even know if the nose did it justice. Up front, toasted bread. Like maybe like a brown bread, but not like a super dark brown bread, but it's a toasted brown bread. There's caramel, there's toffee, a touch of brown sugar, caramelized sugars, but not over the top. Lots of dried fruit, apricots. There's figs and dates and raisins. Cherry is very prominent. Lots of like dried cherry, fresh cherry, sweet cherry, but not like a black cherry more so than anything. Maybe even a touch of like vanilla too. Super complex, just like over the top. Like a candied orange peel on that last sip. Like a candied citrus peel. Would I say orange? Maybe. Holy shit. Like, I didn't realize how complex this was. I mean, in the nose, I was like, yeah, it's super complex, but I'm tasting it. Like, every time I go back, I pick something else up. That's the first half of the palate. Second half of the palate, halfway through, the spices start to creep in. Again, it's more of like a nutmeg, slight cinnamon, big clove and coriander kind of vibe. Maybe a slight ginger. Underlying black licorice. It's not, this is what I would say, for me, anyway. I like black licorice, right? There are sometimes I get beers and black licorice is, you know, the predominant note, and I'm like, all right, I'm all right with it. If you like black licorice, you'd be fine. This, maybe if you're very sensitive to black licorice, it might throw you off a little bit, but I would say it has a mild like black licorice kind of feel to it. Yeah, it might throw somebody off, but I don't know. It's not throwing me off because it's more like on the finish and it's mixing in with the rest of those spices. So again, this is like a fruit cake that has a lot of, again, spices to it, maybe like a little bit more of a sweeter like glaze to it. Excuse me, underlying bubblegum from the yeast ester. The phenolic spices are obviously there, and whatever spices they're brewing with. Very carbonated, very effervescent, like I said, but man, so smooth and creamy on the palate. Finishes semi-full on dry, very mild bitterness. This one's all about the dryness. And now as I'm sitting here, it's probably a full on dry kind of finish. It definitely has a nice, it's not like too dry, but it's definitely a firm dryness. It balances out all that sweet, malty goodness. But this is definitely a decadent beer. It's rich. They say rich and spiced for sure. It's not too sweet. This is no point to being, you know, cloying whatsoever for my palate. But I think if you go in drinking this one, understand that this is a big 10% beer that has a nice rich malt presence to it. And while it's not going to be bitter at all, there is a nice dryness, but it definitely leans a little bit sweeter. But I think you would kind of figure that one out. Again, 10%, big warming into the chest. Like, this is a nice warming beer. No astringency on the palate, which it hides it beautifully on the palate. But, you know, after a couple sips here, I'm like, ooh, I'm starting to, you know, feel it in my chest and starting to feel good in general, starting to feel warm as a whole. This is a fucking beautiful beer. Stylistically, for like a Belgian Strong Dark or like a spiced Belgian Strong Dark, or they call it Belgian Dark Special Ale, this is fucking like a 4.8, 4.9. Like, it's close to perfect for me. As a whole, though, as a beer, it's not as good as that, but it's still fucking awesome. Like, I still really like this beer. Also, I didn't even mention it, but you might notice there's tape on the label. That's because when I bought this and put it in my fridge, I did not notice when I bought it that there was like a little bit of a rip on the label, and I was like, I can't have a huge rip on the Christmas Eve beer, so we taped it. We taped it. Terrible job, but we taped it. Anyway, let me throw in the rest of this and just see if like all the goodies do anything to it other than, you know, make it probably a little bit cloudier. Usually it bumps up the body, so maybe that's the way you want to drink it. I don't know. But anyway, we're going to give it a rating here in a second. But like I said, 4.849 stylistically. Yeah, it did, made the body a little bit thicker, or a little, at least feeling a little bit thicker on the palate. So Gouden Carolus Christmas. I think this is a 2020 vintage, but whatever. We're not going to worry about that. This for me is a high 4.5. I'm going to go 4.55. This is fucking excellent. One of the better for me. Like, this is up there with St. Bernard's Christmas Ale. Like, that beer and this beer, probably the two Christmas beers from Belgium that I really do enjoy. But if you can get your hands on this one, and if you're in the States, you should be able to. If you like Belgian beers, especially bigger Belgian Strong Darks and Belgian Quads, like, you got to pick this one up. I wish I knew the herbs and spices, but I guess it makes it a little bit more fun not knowing. So yeah, anyway, price point availability in my neck of the woods, this is $19.99 a 4-pack, so a bit pricey obviously, but it's a Belgian import. It's 10% and it's fucking delicious. No issues whatsoever paying that. I think these also come in big 750 milliliter bottles, which I don't know the price point on those, probably in the $10 to $12 range. But yeah, I'd pay that all day, every day. It's fucking great value and availability. Brouwerij Het Anker. If you can get Gouden Carolus stuff in general, or Het Anker stuff in general, you should be able to find this one, especially now during the Christmas time, during the holiday season. You should be able to grab this one. And yeah, I am going to go drink the rest of this and enjoy every single fucking sip because it's absolutely delicious. The perfect Christmas Eve beer, even though I'm not drinking this on Christmas. I mean, it's Christmas Eve now as you're watching this one. So I'm definitely drinking this one a few days in advance. So, but I'm going to go drink the rest of this one because it doesn't matter if it's Christmas Eve, Christmas Day, or just a random Tuesday. This beer is fucking delicious. Anyway, appreciate everybody stopping by for another beer review here on the Beer Patrol. Check back tomorrow. We have a special Christmas Day beer. I can't wait to get into that one. And hopefully, like I said, everybody has a fantastic Christmas Eve and Christmas Day. Merry Christmas to everyone. Till the next one. Cheers. You know what? Make it a little bit longer. Just read the back here. I said it was generic, right? A dark ruby red ale with enormous complexity and character. Yep. This warming winter ale is brewed in August, which we already talked about, because this is, best before July 26th, or maybe they brew it in, whatever, August 6th or something, I don't know. And it says, after which it rests for months to reach an optimal taste balance. Well, you've done it. Gouden Carolus has done it with the Christmas ale. Anyway, till the next one. Cheers.